Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Waters, and I am part of the CNY fertility team. Happy Wednesday, at least for those of us that are not in South Florida, Cuba, Puerto Rico. Let's just take a moment and send out our thought, our mind of concentration to those that are in need, trying to remove themselves from the path of potential disaster. You know, a lot of us complain about living in upstate New York because of the gray skies and a lot of snow and tons of rain. But at the end of the year, at the end of the day, I think that we have a lot to be thankful for, because living on the coast, although it's beautiful, every year they face what we call impermanence, and you just don't know how things are going to go. And that is the case for our entire lives, whether you are trying to conceive or prevent disease or cultivate health, whatever you are thinking about these days. The truth is, we don't know the future, and that can be unsettling or settling depending on where you're at. So today we're just going to jump right in. We're going to talk about phototherapy, also known as light therapy, also known as photobiomodulation. I had a conversation last week with a woman going through fertility treatments, and I wish that I had recorded it because it was so good. She was so educated. She's done so much to improve her ovarian health, her follicle production, her egg quality, preventing miscarriage, and she was using red light therapy. And it had a direct impact on the number of follicles that her ovaries produced, getting ready for retrieval. And I was excited. She was able to actually show that in the monitoring that she did. The truth is, phototherapy is finally making its way into integrated fertility treatments. Most of you that are interested in whatever I have to say are interested in pursuing what I call the both and approach, the integrative approach, so that you have your feet in both worlds. You may be doing pharmaceuticals support as well as nutraceuticals, and now we are talking about phototherapy. So just really quickly, there's a lot of different names for light, right? Remember, it all starts with the sun. We have evolved as Homo sapiens in the sun. Okay, now we have all of this fear of the sun because the ozone holes and all of this, and obviously we need to be careful, but we also don't want to remove ourselves out of the light. It's very important. And when you go back and you study where it all started, it really does start with the sun. There's a lot of stories about the Egyptian gods and using the sun and the moon and all of that. Is fascinating. If you're interested in that, you will stay up late at night reading about all kinds of things. So now we have saunas, which is, a lot of people ask me, what's the difference between the near infrared in a light therapy device or in a sauna? Okay, so not that much, and yet there is a big difference. Lasers, another kind of light. Now, if you have layers of fascia, otherwise known as fat, and you are looking to stimulate your ovaries to begin repairing themselves, to detox, to increase follicle production, whatever it is you're trying to do, you're probably going to want to use a laser to get that deep. Most practitioners don't love using lasers because it's simply expensive to buy. It's hard to manage because you have to hold them there. If you're using a pad-based system, like an LED light system, you don't have to. You place the pads, you turn it on, it automatically turns off. It's very powerful. We are getting measurable results. Those of you that know me know I like to use the patches. Oopsie, a patch-based system is a lot easier because you just stick it on an acupuncture point, activating the bioelectrical aspect of you, and the magic happens. Where does it happen? It happens on a cellular level. So remember, when we're talking about improving egg quality, improving ovarian function, preventing miscarriage, what are we doing? We're trying to get your cells healthier, better, stronger, more energy. You probably already know this, but the mitochondria, which is where the ATP is released in your cells, the powerhouse of the cells, are in every cell in the body, but there are more mitochondria in egg cells than any other cell in the body, which means that increasing the ATP is essential if you're looking to improve egg quality or prevent miscarriage. I always put them together because essentially it's the same thing, right? If we want, and it's nice to think about it in that way, because when you consciously improve your egg quality, whether you're doing a natural cycle or a mini cycle or getting ready for a retrieval, wherever you're at, when you're improving egg quality at the same time, you're going to prevent miscarriage, because it comes down to energy in the cells and how well the cells are functioning. So, and then, my favorite thing to look at in relationship to phototherapy is causation. What's causing your diagnosis? And I really want to challenge you all to tune in to yourself and ask yourself, not your doctor, not Google, not WebMD, what caused this in you? Okay, not in a way that's blame or shame, but in a way that's curious. Be curious about PCOS, endometriosis, low ovarian reserve. Just open your mind to possibly understand how you ended up here, wound up here, and then it's easier to make the change, right? We want to be able to implement the cure. And sometimes understanding the cause is important to that. Not always, but it can be. So, those of you that have signed up for my newsletter, a couple, I'm going to say months ago now, I sent out an article that I found because I researched light, that talked about the zinc spark. I don't know if you got that, but I was really excited when I found this article. Why? Because it talks about when the sperm penetrates the egg, what happens is called a zinc spark. Okay, this is light. This is the bioelectrical beginning of all of us. Remember, we're biochemical. We know that. This is why we eat well and take targeted supplements, and hormones rule the world and all of that. But we are also bioelectrical. And that's the part where people kind of scratch their head and they know it, but they don't know. They know if they don't use dryer sheets, they're going to get a static cling. That is also the electrical aspect of our being. So when the egg penetrates, the sperm penetrates the egg, a zinc spark occurs. It's measurable. It was a big breakthrough in, I forgot why they were studying this, but anyways, it was a big deal for them. Now they say that what we can see in terms of the spark is zinc, one of the most essential minerals in the body. Zinc, calcium, magnesium. We know that we need minerals. Why do we need minerals? We need minerals because that is what is the foundation of how our cells function. Obviously, we need fat and protein as well, but the minerals are often underutilized, and it's really important. But I'm going to say that maybe it's not the zinc that we are seeing in the spark. Maybe it's the zinc as one of the most essential mineral nutrients is the carrier that lays the foundation so that the spark can occur. Now, Western science isn't going to say, well, we're going to call that chi. We're going to call that prana. We're going to call that the bioelectrical nature of our being. They're going to say, we're going to call that zinc. So I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to debate it out, though, with the scientists that discovered that moment. So we know that all life begins with a spark, a visible spark of light. We also know that when you implant an embryo into the uterus, what do you see? The spark of light, the spark of life. Those first moments that life begins, which I know is a whole other debate, but it's worth thinking about, is light. So I think it's why it's my most favorite subject to dive into because it's where everything begins. I don't know about ends, but I know that it begins with light. And I know that light is designed to create the conditions in our bodies to heal. We are designed to self repair and self heal. If you're not, you have to ask yourself why. What is interfering with your health, right? We can say it's toxins, it's excess estrogen, it's parasites, it's mold, yeast, fungus, it's a lot of things. It can be the mind, it can be emotions. We know that there's not enough emphasis on our subconscious mind and the psycho emotional part. You have to ask yourself, do you believe you can heal? Do you believe that you can recover from whatever it is that you have? Some people will say whatever you've been gifted with. I don't know. I think some diagnoses are more challenging than others, and we have to be careful when we don't want to be overly positive when things are just obviously a challenge. But my saying is always neutral or above. Being negative does not help. It brings everything down. Being neutral is a good place to begin. So we talked about the zinc spark. We talked about a lot of things. So if you're going to use the patches in your life, the reason that we put them on acupuncture points, specific points in the body, is because the channels in our body, the acupuncture meridians, in a way, they turn the lights on in how our body is functioning and how well our organs are functioning. So, how long is it going to take to make a change? That is a very good question. That is the multi-million dollar question. Some people change very quickly, and some people it takes more time. So, let's say you've had 5 miscarriages and you're going to do one more transfer, and you want to know how, and you're going to take a pause. You're going to make some changes in between now and your next transfer. How much time should you spend to make the change? That's a very good question. That is a personal question. You have to ask yourself that. What I go by is the 30, 60, 90 rule: 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. That's the foundation. We have to go back to how you feel, right? We want to look at your current symptoms. Symptoms are the knocking on the door telling us something's not right and you need to make a change, whether it's low back pain, loose stools, headaches, hot flashes. I don't care what it is. These are your allies telling you to wake up and make a change, do something different. We can't keep doing the same things and expect different results. So make that change. That depends on you. Remember, you are not your blood work. Everybody likes to get all of these labs and all of this testing and everything. And I'm not saying it doesn't have value, it does. But I want you to also feel that that's not just who you are, and that your mind is very powerful and you can change your blood work with your mind. Now, obviously, there's going to be situations where that's not going to happen. But for most of you that are kind of in the middle zone, you can make some serious changes in a short amount of time. Now, if we're looking at something like if you're over 40 and you're trying to conceive naturally, let's say, and we decide that stem cell production is the way to go for you because stem cells repair everything, right? They are recruited by the body in order of priority. They go to where they're needed most, whether it's your uterine lining or your ovaries or your thyroid or thymus or pituitary gland, which is really important. The stem cells are going to go. How long will you need to be on a specific patch for that? Let's say the X39 patch. It could be up to a year, right? So we know changes are happening right away. We know there's a big change after 30, 60, 90. But we also know the biggest change where you are going to stop and really feel the difference is going to be after a year. If you're over 40 and that is your goal, is to just really increase stem cells in order to eliminate whatever nagging symptoms you might have. And I can tell you, it really does work. I have experience with that. So just to summarize, because I'm off to the clinic now, when you use light, you're accelerating the biological response. Okay, you are bypassing your gut. Your gut is full of inflammation, it's full of dysbiosis, right? Could be fungal, could be candida, could be whatever. The gut, when you're taking a lot of supplements, is problematic. We don't know what's being absorbed. We don't know if you have enough hydrochloric acid to break things down, so you're actually getting the absorption. We don't know if the timing's right. We don't know if the quality is good. We don't know anything. When you're using light, whether you're standing in front of a panel or you're in underneath a pad-based system or you're using a patch, we are bypassing your gut. We are going directly onto a cellular level, and we are activating the powerhouse of the mitochondria of your cell. We're increasing the energy of your cell so that it can do what it was designed to do. Alrighty, have a wonderful day. Everybody, please take care. I look forward to seeing you in the clinic. If you happen to be in Syracuse, Central New York, pay attention to what you're thinking and feeling. It really matters. Bye. Oh, here, I'll post my website. If you want to reach out to me, go ahead. I promise I will do my best to get back to you. I think I've done pretty good. I hope so. If I haven't, reach out to me again.